Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I got the top hat going today because I felt like the ringleader of a circus. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is your boy, your friend, your pal, your comrade, your homeboy, some might say, Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector. Coming at you from the top of my house, above the second floor, below the roof. It's a lot of flights, man. It's a lot of stairs. I never counted how many stairs it is to get up here, but I'm in my attic. Been here for a long time. This show is called Philanthropy and Phocus. Let me just tell you what you're listening to, who you're listening to. I told you. Let me tell you what you're listening to. This is my answer. This is my answer to the challenge, the question, the area of opportunity, the problem that nonprofits are overlooked, underfunded, and often unrecognized for the work that they do. And my answer is let's amplify it, baby. Let's amplify their message. Let's amplify their mission. Let's help them tell their stories. And every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And for my guests and those checking in from the West Coast, 7 a.m. local time on the West. I like to joke sometimes in meetings, and I say Jim Morrison told me the West is the best. Now I'm an East Coast guy in New York, out on Strong Island, as we say out here. But I certainly have enjoyed my time whenever I make it out to the other side of the country. So I'm extra fired up this morning. It could be the amounts of caffeine that are currently running through my system. It could be just the topic. It could be the joking that Mara and I just got the text on what might be my next Halloween costume, although I was going to go as Albert Einstein because that's what my hair looks like when I wake up. And my kids say my hair is white like Einstein. And dare I say, maybe I'm a creative genius. Oh, my goodness. I just said it. Wow. Challenging the universe. Tommy D, there it goes. I feel extra wired and fired today. So I'm thrilled to be able to do this show every single week. Thank you. I will make a shout out to somebody who didn't expect it. Shout out to Sam Leibowitz on the other side of the glass. You were always there waiting when it was time was right for me to launch this show. And you were just there. You were persistent. And thanks for your friendship and for being here. And thanks for what talk radio is. Professionals and community. That's what this network's all about. I mean, I like it so much. We launched a second show on Wednesday. It's called the Professionals and Animal Lovers Show. Talk about that another time, but I didn't know anything about animal advocacy, and I still know very little, but I learned about feral cats and dog rescues. And you may have heard it here. You heard it when I had Tim Cummings on the show a couple of weeks ago. There will probably be a rescue dog joining the Demisa crew. So more to come on that. Shout out to Regina Mendoza, Camp Happy Tales NYC, where my son and I did a day of service. 60 days of service. What is he talking about? 15 in the books. Next week, I'm going to put this out there to you guys. Next week, I rented a van Tuesday morning, picking up 10,000 diapers from the Allied Foundation in Hauppauge, Long Island, and driving them out to the Hamptons Community Outreach Organization just because I wanted to. So that doesn't mean you have to rent a van to do service. We'll talk about service maybe today. Doesn't mean you need to rent a van to do it. You can just call an organization, tell them you want to bring your skill set to what they do, and go out and do it. So let's get into the meat of this meeting, conversation, discussion. Mara, first of all, before I even introduce you, good morning. How are you? Thanks for waking up early. Welcome to the attic.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Excuse me, part of my morning voice.
Well, it is early. It is early on the West, so I appreciate you being here. But I've heard in hanging out with people from California specifically, and even Seattle, that you guys kind of get it. You wake up for the East Coast times because it's how to do business, it's how to connect. So I appreciate you doing it. I appreciate the investment, and I'm thrilled to have this conversation because there are two. I don't have a favorite kid out of my 4 children, and I also don't have a favorite cause in nonprofit. Wink, wink. I actually do have 2 favorite causes in nonprofit, although I love the entire sector. The intellectually and developmentally disabled population is a population, and I butchered how we say those words, but the IDD population is incredibly important to me. And on the other side of that is the mental health space. And I just came out of another meeting, and I'm doing my typical rant about how we don't treat mental health issues, in my opinion. And I'm not clinical. I'm just a guy who sees the way we do things. I don't think we treat them appropriately, and I don't think there's enough light shown on the need for mental wellness and education around mental health, which, guess what, gang? That's what we're going to talk about today. And we're going to talk about it from the perspective of our children. And, children are just little people. Newsflash, they're just little people. So even I'm thinking this is silly today. Children are just small people. And look, pre-pandemic, children had challenges in the mental health space. It is difficult being a kid, man. It was difficult. I'm 43. It was difficult being a kid when I was a kid. I think it's more difficult to be a kid now. We know why, but I'll point it out. Social media, bullying never goes away. It follows you home, all this kind of stuff. I know personally in my own personal network of some of my friends whose young people are just having a real tough time. And if these things aren't addressed early on, then you're just going to be older people with challenges. And if I break my arm today, I don't want this to happen, but if I trip down the stairs of the attic later on, I'm going to go to the urgent care because I'm hurt. So why, when I have mental health challenges, is it treated differently? Maybe we'll dive into why. But I will, before we even do this, I want to do statistics really quick. 9.4% of children, this is between the age of 2 to 7, 9.4. This is right off of the Extraordinary Lives Foundation website, which is Mara James's organization. I'll start again. 9.4% of children 2 to 17 have received a diagnosis of ADHD. 7.4% of children 3 to 17 have been diagnosed with a behavior problem, and 7.1% of children aged 3 to 17 have been diagnosed with anxiety. Look, folks, I don't know. I'm not going to go off the statistics of 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 people will have a challenge with mental health in their lifetime. I don't know this clinically. This is just a guy in an attic saying it, but I think we all experience mental health challenges in our lifetime. If you live long enough, you're going to have some challenges. And look, you can challenge me on that because I don't have any statistics to back it up. It's just, I know people, a lot of them, and I think we all have some of these challenges. So that should be enough from me, because this show is not about me. I'm just here to amplify the message for my guests. So Mara, I'm going to read something about the organization real quick. And then I would just want to hear your story. How do we I know you're from the East Coast out to California. How'd you get there? And how do you this mission? And by the way, gang, this is the book that was that Mara sent to me. And we're going to talk about the book. It says The Power of Piggy Bear. If you're just listening in, you can go to elfempowers.org to check out the Piggy Bear stuff. But I'm sure we will mention that a whole bunch of times today. Our mission is to improve children's mental health and wellness and support families by providing educational tools, resources, and awareness events. Originally from New York, Mara James relocated to California with her husband and 3 children in 2007. They established Dr. James's OBGYN practice, and for 7 years, Mara managed that office. Then in 2014, Mara unexpectedly experienced a manic episode and was diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Through her battle with mental health, many wellness professionals helped Mara heal and transform her life. And her experience, in addition to experience with other close family members with mental health challenges, has kindled into her passion for forwarding the cause of children's mental health. She established this organization, Extraordinary Lives Foundation, and created Piggy Bear, who I just was texting with Mara before this, and I think there's a costume. So the whole Einstein thing that I talked about, whatever, I might have a Piggy Bear costume. If you want me to have a Piggy Bear costume and you want me to do a day of service wearing this, just let's do it. I'm going to do it. So let's figure out which organization wants me to kind of act a little silly and dress up like Piggy Bear. She established this organization, created Piggy Bear for awareness, to provide both children and their parents with the resources they need to pursue holistic wellness in all avenues available. Orange County, California's own Mara James. Mara, what's up? What's going on? Good morning.
Good morning. As you're doing that, I'm going to get the picture of a Piggy Bear mascot to show everybody. But you said something. Well, hold on. Here it is. Can you see?
I got someone from your website, right? That's
yeah.
You know what I'll do? I'll share my screen during the break so everybody can see that who's watching on Facebook.
Okay. And what's amazing is that children love the mascot. I'll tell you all about what we do with Piggy Bear, but when the children get to hug Piggy Bear, it's profound. So you said something in the beginning that children are little people. They are, but you know what? These little people have some big emotions and they're not taught how to handle them. And that's exactly one of the things that we're about. So the Extraordinary Lives Foundation. Well, do you want me to start with my story first?
Here's the thing about this show. Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble with South Park, but I say, because I go like, whatever, I do what I want. This is my show, Mara. This is we do however we want to do it. So this is my show and now it's your show. How do you want to tell the story?
Yeah, let's just start from the beginning. So you read a little bit about my bio. Thank you so much. It's hard to come out, of course, with mental health challenges. However, when I was going through this manic episode and diagnosed with bipolar disorder, it was also like a spiritual awakening. So for me, I'm like, my mind has never been more crystal clear. I am not crazy. Bipolar, what? Yeah, two polarities, heaven and earth. So I had through my experience personally, I had a new experience, a new feeling about mental health. And I was blown out of the water. I never even had I didn't think mental health challenges before that. And after things got way out of control, I just said, I need medication. So I was medicated. Thankfully, I wasn't hospitalized, but I was stuck in bed for a while, met with a psychiatrist and therapist. Thankfully, I was introduced to holistic healing. And that's when, after a year and a half of hard work and meeting with several healers, I was able to be weaned off my medication. And I say that I went from medication to meditation. And every time I became a visionary. I was this left brain Excel spreadsheet person. I'm from New York. I don't believe in a God in the universe. And I'm, chugging away with my spreadsheets and numbers and all that. And then bam. And, my psychiatrist is like, are you having grandiose thoughts? And I'm like, yeah, like this God thing, whatever that might be, is talking to me. And it was crazy. It was crazy. I grew up Jewish, had a bat mitzvah, but no belief. And yeah, really interesting stuff. Anyways, so after I was weaned off my medication, that's when I felt compelled to start the foundation. And everything I do, I just realized I am so guided. This is not me. I feel like it's it's me in the universe. And so started the Extraordinary Lives Foundation because all of my personal healing was about my inner child. And it was that 3 to 7 year old age. And that internal voice that we have is that little girl and that little boy. And if we can help that little girl and that little boy with their voice and teach them how to manage their emotions and give them that TLC that they might not receive, then they could help, that will help them throughout their lives. So, so talk about Piggy Bear first. Where did Piggy Bear come from? So during my manic episode, I dropped my daughter off at softball, like at 6 a.m. And I go to the Kmart, Walmart, I forgot what it was, find this stuffed animal. And I was just walking and this animal is like on this shelf, like blaring. And I'm like, I just need to have it. It was like adorable pig. And I'm like, pig, power the pig. Pig's going to save the world. And I'm bringing it to my daughter's softball game. And she's like, oh no. And I'm like, yes. And if an adult can't hug Piggy, then they lost their inner child. And my husband's horrified because he's a physician, OBGYN. And for him, mental health is like the old men in the VA. And it was really scary and a dark time, right? So then his wife's going through this and he just had no idea what to do. And then the therapist is like, why a pig? And I'm like, I don't know, but isn't she adorable? So yeah, it was really funny. And then I would wake up in the middle of the night and start writing, which is freaky because again, numbers, I'm a left brain person, numbers. I don't write English and, is my second language, numbers literally my first language. So I'd wake up in the middle of the night and write, and it was freaky, scary. I'm like, where are these ideas coming from? But I was just writing, and the second night it happened and I wrote in large letters, I am not crazy. What was happening to me is crazy, I will tell you. And I'm not supposed to use the word crazy, but I'll say it was crazy amazing. Anyway, so once I was medicated, I actually learned something called channeled writing, where you write a question, you do this guided meditation, you write the answer, and it's just such a beautiful thing. So when I was weaned off my medication, I said to one of my healers, I feel the need to write and something about the pig. And she says, it's going to be a children's book. And right then I had chills from head to toe. It resonated with me.
One of your healers said it's going to be a children's book?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right. So
very intuitive.
So it is, gang, because it's right here. And I was telling Mara earlier, I read this to my kids this morning at the breakfast table. We'll be back to talk about this book. We'll be back to talk about Piggy Bear. I feel like I'm on a roller coaster and I'm digging it. And I don't really like roller coasters. So I like the quick ones. I don't like the ones that go upside down because I get motion sickness. But right now, Mara, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. So let's enjoy the ride, gang. Come back. We'll be back in 90 seconds. And Mara and Tommy D in the attic, Philanthropy and Phocus. Mara, hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant. And on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you interested in having a better relationship with yourself, others, and God? Greetings. I'm your host, Dr. George Andow, for the show A Journey Through into Awareness. On my show, we journey into the awareness that the mind of God is the true seat of our personal consciousness. We join together each Monday at 7 p.m., so tune in on Talk Radio NYC.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
So you'd like that, Mara. That's always the first time people get to hear the song. I don't tell them about it too much, and then they hear it, and then maybe I make them sing it. But here, look, if you're watching on Facebook, I am amazing, right? This is Piggy Bear. We're going to talk about Piggy Bear, but here's what's, you know, like I ran into some people the other night at my son had a, hey, it's Tommy D, Philanthropy and Phocus. I just want to let you know in case you just checked in with us. It's ran into somebody at my son's flag football game the other night. And I walked over to this group and they said, hey, Tommy D, what's going on? How you doing? I'm like, everything's awesome, man. Everything's really cool. And this one friend of ours, she's like, you're always saying that, you know, like that's always like what you're always like upbeat and stuff like that. And I said to her, like, and I just thought of it when Piggy Bear says, I am amazing. And I think like we get to make a choice, Mara, like every day, like how we want to interact with the world. And I could say, you know, if I look, everything's not always awesome, although awesome can have two different meanings, right? Like incredible can have two different meanings too. But sometimes things aren't great, but I don't really want, like, that's not what I want to tell you because, you know, I don't say everything sucks because that's no fun. So it's all about choice. And when I was reading this again this morning, and I just read it just now, this little bear, I mean, it's a toy, but like it's got a personality and everything like that, right? So we get to make a choice. What's your choice, gang? I'm not saying that mental health isn't real, but I'm saying it's how we approach things in life too. I mean, you know, I know we've made a lot of advances, and I'm not a doctor and I'm not a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but I know we've made a lot of advances in medicine, and some people do very well with medicine. But I love the fact that you were able to make this decision and say, you know what, I'm going holistic. I'm going to get off of the meds. And I'm going to do this a different way. And you mentioned meditation, you know, mindfulness, and you know, there's this on this network. I mean, you know, I mentioned Sam earlier in the show, and his show, The Conscious Consultant. We heard his commercial just there during the break. You know, this is a community here of people who are trying to help each other, support each other, and get better. And I love where we were talking about that you went a different direction. So I think there's alternatives out there. You know, some people need the medication. I am not a doctor, but some people need the meditation. I think we all need the meditation. You know, I checked out these new things, these new videos, and it's like hypnosis. And I've been really personally, I don't share all this stuff on here usually, but I've been digging that kind of stuff, you know, really just to go, you know, Mara, go inside. You said to that 3-year-old girl, that 7-year-old girl, the little girl inside, which was my question. This is leading to a question. What, like, you knew there was a book, you knew there was something, you came up with this idea, but you wanted to address this for young people. You wanted them to have a connection to this. And I'd love to refer to the book again soon, because you mentioned these are little people with big emotions. And I get that, man. I see it like every day in my own world here. And it's a matter of it's okay to be angry. or frustrated, right? But it's what we do. And that's some of the stuff in the book. So take us back, creating this book. You saw it. It was a vision, you and the universe. I get it because I sort of have a connection with the universe. I make some deals sometimes. And I think I get away with some things, because the universe and I have this alliance. So let's go back into the book.
Yep. And I will get, after the book, we will go into our newest venture, the Hugs for Life Healing Center, which is going to, discuss what you.
There's a whole certification. There's a whole certification to be somebody in the hugs thing. I was reading that this morning on the site.
But we'll get there in a moment. So Piggy Bear. So I showed, so when my healer said to me that if Piggy's going to be a book, it was like, it just resonated because I'm a kid at heart. So I showed this Piggy to somebody and she goes, oh, it looks more like a bear than a pig. And I said, thank you. Because it was such a judgmental statement. And I didn't tell her that, but I'm like, so that's where it's like Piggy Bear says, some people think I look like a pig. Some people think I look like a bear. It doesn't matter what we look like. We're all amazing just the way we are. And then I'm in yoga. And of course, I was guided to do yoga years ago, like BG, before God, I said. My brother used to say, Mara, do yoga. You should do yoga. And I'm like, I don't have time. And it's like, if you don't have time to do yoga, then you're the one that needs it the most, right? So, just slow down your body and your mind. And oh my gosh. But there, when you're running around with like kind of, some PTSD and trauma, there's no way you could just like slow down. And people, we really need to do that. So, so Piggy Bear. So, and I'm in yoga and we're doing this position. And I said, oh my God, try this. I go, this is the best feeling ever. And then I did research, and that is self-hug, holding it for 20 seconds, releases oxytocin, which naturally fights sadness. Beautiful, right? And then when you say something about I am, you are defining who you are. So it's always got to be positive. So let's do this. Open your arms out wide with your hands facing the sky and repeat after me. I am amazing.
I am amazing.
You are amazing, and don't forget how truly wonderful you are. And thirdly, then we teach children about how, some emotions, like feeling sad, lonely, scared, and those are the grumpy, bumpy, lumpy days. And what do? We take a deep belly breath. We don't breathe into the chest, because when you start breathing into the chest, no one tells us it increases the nervous system. When we breathe to the belly, it calms the nervous system. And taking 5 deep belly breaths, it's like unbelievable, magical, natural things. So these are things that young kids, 3 to 7 years old, need to learn in addition to the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s in school. Anyway, and then from there, we had Build-A-Bear who made this beautiful Piggy, this adorable Piggy Bear plush. Hey,
so Build-A-Bear made this for you?
So don't even ask. I don't know why I started filling something out online, and then they came back like, oh, they'll make the prototype for free. We had to order them. I do envision Piggy Bear being sold there one day, and what will be beautiful is that children could put their own crystal heart in here, and the crystals that have these beautiful, profound meanings, like whatever the child's called to, like the pink is for love, purple is for, types of healing. So I envision it being sold there one day. Whatever, this is in God's hands, not mine, right? But they're sold now through us, and they will be sold through our publisher, Brown Books Publishing. Then we have these awesome, fun Piggy Bear power cards. And what's great about them is that they help empower children emotionally and physically. So if it's like, say, I am thoughtful, say I am kind, but then there's also physical ones, which, do 5 push-ups, whatever the child needs that day, they will choose, right? Working on the second book, Piggy Bear's Power of Happiness, which gets more into teaching more tools. And we want to raise funds to have a Piggy Bear website and a Piggy Bear app. We have the Piggy Bear mascot. I mean, we just want Piggy Bear to really help children all around the world. So Piggy Bear now has a life of his own. He's going, and we're just guiding him. And just, the more money we could make, the more money we can donate. We apply for grants and raise funds to be able to donate these Piggy Bear toolkits, which is the book, the coloring book, the cards, and the plush to at-risk children. And what child in the hospital doesn't need their own Piggy Bear to hug? What child in a domestic violence shelter, in a homeless shelter, in a hospital, right? So that's all.
What does one of those kits cost? If I wanted to buy that, what does that kit cost?
Oh my gosh, I need to look. I'm so I don't have the cost right now, but like I know for the donation, it might be $100 a kit because there's all the fees behind it. Just so you know, we don't have. I do. My husband makes the money. I make the difference. I don't get paid from what I do. I do it from the heart. We do have contractors that we have to pay, and the website, and all these different operational fees. But so the donations are different than the cost to buy it, and then also they could be bought individually, right? As different as separate items, right?
I guess I'm asking you this because so it's sort of a bit of a social enterprise here too. I mean, this is a nonprofit organization, but you have a product set that is not just, hey, buy our hat with our logo on it. You have a product set here that is actually impacting and making a change. So that's like, I'm trying to find, first of all, I want to challenge a bit about this whole thing with Build-A-Bear, and I think there's something more probably there. I would say maybe there's something to explore, and we don't have to do that on the show, but what a cool idea to have them have this in the store. And look, in a world, I sound like that guy, in a world, like in movies and stuff. In a time when we're underscoring mental health issues and we're turning it on it, turning the stigma on its ear, I see big corporates getting behind things like this. So I would love to talk, we do offline, but I'd love to just say, hey, maybe because I also see this the reason I asked how much these cost is like, what is this application as if we bring this into shelters, different community centers, different things like that. And again, you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. There's probably some cool things we can play around with. And that's part of what this show is about. This show is about connections, the nonprofit sector connector. It's about how do we leave here? Yes, people never heard of ELF, the Extraordinary Lives Foundation. Maybe people listening now may have never heard of you before, and now they have. But even further, how do we move the ball further down the field? So like what's right? So that's where I can't even control it sometimes.
Yeah, no, you're channeling it. Yeah, we just take, yeah. And what's beautiful is that two of my boys, one's in Jersey and one's in New York right now doing their schooling. So definitely that East Coast, West Coast, very profound. Yeah, so that it's just going to be profound because Piggy Bear is going to have free videos also and the app will be free, and just they'll be able, like Piggy Bear and one of the healers will be able to teach children, like when you're feeling anxiety or anxious or fearful, depression, there's going to be tools that are going to, like there's something called tapping, if you ever heard about it, it's like this whole thing, and they're going to do it in such a fun and loving way. So so that's just, and also our goal is to raise funds. Again, we can't have investors, but donors are great, right? Coming from the heart to help with the mission and having a curriculum written and getting it into preschools, kindergarten, first grade. Profound, because every child is at risk, for something, for big emotions that they don't know how to handle. And every child deserves Piggy Bear's tools. And imagine a teacher in a fun way, class is getting out of control. Okay, kids, chill class. Let's do our Piggy Bear breathing, right? So
I think there's some of that. Yeah, I think there's some of that whole, you talk about breathing, you talk about meditation, which was, I don't know, foo or whatever years ago. And it was like, oh yeah, those are the yoga people. Like that's what they do. And now I've been meditating for a long time. Years ago, I studied transcendental meditation, and it's funny what you said earlier about having the time to do yoga. And I remember with TM, they want, it's like 20 minutes twice a day. And sometimes somebody close to me in my family said, yeah, I studied TM too, but I just don't have the 20 minutes to do it. It's kind of funny. Like, and then I realized it's tough sometimes to find it. You got to force the time. You got to invest in yourself, because eventually you're just going to run out of juice because you're not taking care of yourself. But to the point in schools, I see this more. I see like my kids learning about meditation, not just from us, but just from the fact as a society, we're realizing how important this stuff is. And we're given the hardware. We have the stuff. It doesn't have to be outside of us. And not to get on one of my rants here, but I mean, the Beatles tried to tell us this, and the Maharishi tried to tell us this stuff, long time ago, man. And I'm going to start talking about consumerism and all the crap we buy and stuff like that, because but we need to go inside more, right? We need to go inside. We need to realize who we are, and it's not all about the outside stuff. It is all about. We need to take a quick break though, because we have to do some commercials. Ironically, as I'm talking about that, but Mara, James, founder, visionary, awesome person. You are amazing for saying how amazing everybody else is. I appreciate you. We'll be right back, gang. 90 seconds. Take a quick break. Join me back in the attic. Philanthropy in Focus.
Howdy, I am Joseph Franklin McElroy, host of the new podcast, Gateway to the Smokies. It airs on talkradio.nyc every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 7. Every episode is dedicated to memorable experiences in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and surrounding areas. This show features experts and locals who expound upon the richness of culture, history, and adventure that awaits you in the Smokies. Tune in every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a cannabis enthusiast, a cannabis professional, or interested in entering the cannabis space? I'm Johnny Tsunami, and this is Planet Baco Lolo, a less taboo view. On our show, we will discuss the cannabis world through the perspective of various cannabis professionals. Tune in every Thursday evening, Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m., Talk Radio NYC, Planet Baco Lolo, a less taboo view.
Are you passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a small business trying to navigate the COVID-19 related employment laws? Hello, I'm Eric Sauver, employment law business law attorney and host of the new radio show, Employment Law Today. On my show, we'll have guests to discuss the common employment law challenges business owners are facing during these trying times. Tune in on Tuesday evenings from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc, now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
The attic every Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. Pacific Time, here on talkradio.nyc, on Facebook, Talking Alternative Broadcasting, and then check us out where you get your podcasts, because we turn this into a podcast. We do a radio show and then we stir it up and turn it into a podcast and blast it out to the universe. I'm Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connected. Philanthropy and Focus is the answer to what organizations are overlooked, underfunded, and unrecognized, and we're fixing that here, or at least I'm doing it once a week to amplify the message for nonprofits. Mara, mental health is incredibly important. We're talking a lot about it. We're bouncing in a lot of different directions. I want to get into the programs that the organization provides. We love Piggy Bear, obviously, but let's talk about programmatically what happens. What is the deliverables of the Extraordinary Lives Foundation? And how do they impact people?
Okay, thanks for asking. So in addition to Piggy Bear and the donations that we do, we go to different schools and do readings there, teaching them Piggy Bear's tools. And we also go to nonprofits. And when the mascot can come and those precious little children hug Piggy Bear, they'll remember it for the rest of their lives. So empowering. So what I want to share with you now is our other division that we've just started. I've had a vision for 6 years of the word hugs: healing, understanding, growth, and spirituality. Thank you, beautiful words. So Hugs for Life Healing Center, profound. The mission, it's under ELF, and the goal is to bridge the gap between medical professionals and accredited holistic healers, because my life has been transformed. My husband, a physician at OBGYN's life, has been transformed, and he's such a believer that he sends his patients to us, and ones that are open to it. I mean, there's some people that just, older women in their 60s that just have anxiety and they don't know who they'd be without it. They're scared to release it. Maybe they're not for us, but people that want to put their pinky toe in the water and that want to really begin the healing process, it's profound. And COVID has been such a blessing. I hate to say, another silver lining of COVID is children's mental health, because God's way to change the world is through mental health. These little kids are experiencing fear, anxiety, and depression, and they are empaths. And if we want to change mental health, we need to start talking about what it means to be an empath. We need to just talking about dark entities. We need to talk about things that, you said meditation used to be out there. What I'm bringing now is kind of probably out there, but the truth is the truth is the truth. And, and this is just what needs to be done. These kids are here to change the world, but it begins with changing their parents. They're feeling their parents' emotions on an energetic level that you can't explain. The parent, like the mother could be downstairs and like feeling all anxious. The child is feeling that mother's anxiety. It's not even his or her own, and they don't know how to deal with it. So whenever a child comes in, we always, have the parent, usually the mother, put their oxygen mask on, and it's profound. And we guide these, of course, if a child's having something extreme, they need to be medicated. Absolutely. We need to stabilize them. But once we do that, I always work with mostly the mom, saying, what is going on with your child that represents what you need or what you get to heal in yourself? And we have profound changes. My middle son, 22 years old, diagnosed with Asperger's and ADHD at 6. That's a whole nother story. That which didn't kill me has made me stronger. And boy, am I strong. He was medicated, wanted to go off at 11 years old. And the psychiatrist says, we'll try it. Thankfully, we got him back on, but I saw darkness take over, and it wasn't his sweet little boy. And it's just unbelievable. So we were told our son would never go to college. So we did like the regular types of therapies. So he would never, kids don't want to do talk therapy. And the beauty about the healers is that they don't need to talk therapy, because these healers are intuitive and then can guide them. And there's just like Reiki masters that, get in messages, but and our list of different types of healers goes on. And I've had the pleasure of meeting like probably 20 different modalities. But even when you're talking hypnotherapy, 3 of my hypnotherapists so far are all different, and the way that they do it differently. But if you want to heal mental health, we need to go to the root cause of things, and whether it's in the child or whether it's in the adult, and profound changes will be made. So my son, he would never he wouldn't do any of the therapies that, the healing, because he thought at 16 years old, my mom's crazy. She's talking about God. She's had this awakening. She wants me to do this crazy stuff. But he did do some things that were so profound that, that made like his personality, his body was very flexible, but his personality wasn't. And there's NET, neuroemotional technique, that was so easy that the chiropractor did by just pushing his arm and doing kinesiology. And it helped his mind be more flexible. He ended up going to college, local, UC Riverside. He ended up was being told, I thought he was getting kicked out of school, but they said, this isn't the school for you. You should transfer. He ended up transferring to UCLA, top school, just graduated, and is now by himself on the East Coast studying for his master's in math. And I am here just to inspire people that there is hope, whatever the diagnosis is, there's hope. You're bipolar, there is an amazing gift. And the greater the gift, the greater the curse. I've seen it. With my son, I've seen oh my God, like the stuff that comes out of his mouth. He's such a wise old soul, but with any gift, then he hears the negative self-talk. So mom can't say, hey, go to one of the healers and teach you how to keep it away. So he just keeps his low dose medication just to keep that, his self-talk out. But there is so much profound healing that can be done, will be done. And we are here to change the world, one person, one family at a time. And we are so excited that once we get through our comedy night gala in October, this is where one of my healers says, I am your intake coordinator. And I started crying. And November, we are going live with it. It's virtual. I've had the pleasure during COVID to work, me and 2 of my 3 children, with a healer on the East Coast. We are not limited. I know this sounds crazy.
You mean remotely? You're working with the healer?
Yes, it's all remotely. I even have a healer. This sounds crazy. I understand the crazy amazing. We have a chiropractor that does things, no hands-on, energetically, and I felt it on my back. And there's just so many profound things. And I just say, if you know what, pain is inevitable, suffering is optional. People do not realize it. I am just here, for people that don't want to make a change and they're scared. I understand that. And I will pray for them. If anybody thinks what we're doing is kind of out there, I just pray that they find the truth. But there's so many things that are so profound that will change. Let me tell you a story. One of my hypnotherapists has so many clients, and whether or not you believe in past life doesn't matter. It's like whether or not you believe Jesus, Son of God, whatever. Like, let's agree to disagree. It doesn't matter. But right, the truth is the truth is the truth. There's only one truth with everything. So my hypnotherapist has seen so many clients during COVID that have this anxiety or this anger that they've never experienced before. And he does something called biofeedback, where the body answers, you're awake and you're standing up in the body's saying yes or no. And so many of his clients have died in a pandemic in the past life. And in one session, bam, he releases it and it's healed. It's done. They don't do talk therapy because you can't talk it away, can't medicate it away. He released it on this energetic level, transformational. My husband has patients with postpartum depression. And listen, not everything is one session. I've been healing over the past 7 years. And it was only after 4 years of healing that my subconscious mind let me know about the trauma that I went through, being molested as a 3 and 4-year-old little girl. And my father just passed away 2 weeks ago, may he rest in peace, at 99. And unfortunately, that was the final healing for me. But I'm just saying, anything that's out there, I believe is healable.
So much here. First of all, the first thing I want to say is I appreciate your candor. I appreciate your openness, about your own struggles, about, what your son has gone through, because I think, as I mentioned at the front of the show, I think we all have things that are deep inside, mental health challenges, and and maybe men more than women, we're told to just not, boys don't cry, all this kind of stuff. And there's all these messages that we're told, not just men, but as a society, kind of like walk it off, like just keep it going, like walk it off. Well, but maybe we shouldn't walk it. And I'm guilty of saying walk it off all the time, but that's more when my kid, hurts their knee and I'm like, come on, walk it off. But when we're told to like walk off these other things, and it's not, I don't know if this is a word, it's not walk it offable. There's more that needs to be done. And, your candor, the way you share this information is eye-opening. And I think we're at a certain point in history where we are awakening, and we are going back to things that were probably, and I'm not keyed into the history of it all, but these things were addressed hundreds of years ago in societies, and they've been pushed down or tamped down for whatever reasons, whatever the historical reason is. But we're waking back up is the thing that I feel we're experiencing as a society, and we need to wake the heck back up. And that's, you were drawn into my sphere for some reason to tell these stories here on this show. And now people are going to know about it who may not have known about it. Like, for instance, I keep Facebook open because people are watching us and checking in. So shout out to my buddy Mick Collins, who's checking in on Facebook, and he's got nothing but great things to say. Aside from the fact he's saying doggy D, which he's rooting for me to get the dog, which we talked about earlier today. So we'll see how that all shakes out, Mick. But it's just, he loves your purpose. He loves what you're about. And I think there's going to be a lot of feedback. Obviously, you're experiencing in other places, but thank you, Mick, for being a friend and always checking in on the show. It means a lot. And it means a lot that you are now able to take this information, Mick, and bring it to other people. So thank you for being there. Mara, thank you for being with me on the show. Thank you for being so real. We are going to take one more break, and then we come back. I want to talk about the future of this organization. I want to talk about you mentioned some stuff, comedy show and whatnot. So tell us about that. But when we come back, what you need, who you want to connect to. I can't get this Build a Bear thing out of my head right now. I figure there's more there. We got to figure something out there. But when we come back, future of the organization, what you need, who you want to connect with, and how the people who are listening to this show may be able to help you. Is that cool?
That's beautiful. Thank you.
All right, awesome. 90 seconds, gang. We'll be right back. It's your boy, Tommy D. See you soon.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the nonprofit sector connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Do you feel uninformed about menopause and how it impacts on your life? Hi, I'm Pat Duckworth, women's health strategist and host of the Hot Women Rock radio show, empowering women leaders at menopause. Join me every Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. UK time on talkradio.nyc for interviews with inspirational women who will share their top tips to rock your world.
Have you ever thought of reinventing yourself? Are you looking to create a new life's journey? Hi, I'm Kevin Barbaro, host of Coffee Talk XL every Tuesday night live, 8 p.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live to hear me and my guests from a variety of different backgrounds. As a former college coach and a current full-time actor and owner of multiple companies, my show is as eclectic as my life. That's Coffee Talk XL every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. Cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
We all have a lot of static, whether it be our businesses, our nonprofits, or just sometimes in our own heads. And that's what we're talking about, mental health today. While during the break, I was showing screenshots of the website. So it's ELF Empowers, or elfempowers.org is where you find out about the Extraordinary Lives Foundation. Mara James is here with me today. But Mara, you have your own podcast. You have your own show that goes on, right? So, and I saw there's maybe 22 episodes or so of your show. Tell me about that show and how people plug into that, and then we'll talk about the future of this organization.
Sure. It's called Let's Talk Wellness, and I interview all different types of doctors and therapists, anybody talking about wellness, emotionally related, of course, and we have psychiatrists, we have the OBGYN therapists, and different healers.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's Let's Talk Wellness, and then literally they can go right to your website and just listen to it right on the website, right?
Yep, we are looking to expand to podcasts, so maybe you can guide us on that. That'd be great.
We should probably talk about it. I mean, I got to be honest with you, the fun you and I are having with a serious topic, as my buddy Mick mentions, Tommy D finds ways to make even serious topics kind of fun. But the fun you and I are having, I mean, you'd be a great addition to our network here on talkradio.nyc and really expand your message. So we should probably have that discussion, but that's off the show. So let's talk later on that. What about how big does this thing get? How much impact can you make, and what do you need?
Okay. During a commercial, I just outlined things really quickly. So just kind of food for thought. Again, being a visionary, I see Piggy Bear being sold at Build-A-Bear. I see us having it at Disney Ride. Beautiful stuff.
The Piggy Bear ride?
Yeah. I don't know exactly what it is yet. Just see the ride, right? Nothing scary, nothing spinning and making me nauseous, but just like where you're feeling just so enclosed in love.
It's a ride that just hugs you.
It just hugs you, right? You see it too. We're in the same wavelength.
Right. I like that ride. Just getting hugged.
It's just a hug, yeah, and just loved and protected. Okay, so so Hugs for Life Healing Center, phase 1 is we're live now, but we're really kicking it off in November. Number 2, we will rent, or God willing, be donated space. And phase 3 will be building our own center where, it's kind of like kids get to go to day camp and overnight camp. And this is where you're not just going to the ER and the hospital, and the kid, when they're having an episode, they come, they're welcome with warm arms, and we treat them differently, kind of help defrag them the same way we defrag a computer. And I just said, we want people that are here that have a heart to heal. It's not about the money. It's about making a difference. I have visions of Prince Harry, Lady Gaga, and Oprah. I look at Harry, I look at all three of them, and I see pain in all of them. And I see so much healing that can be done. I listened to Lady Gaga's 5'2", and of course, she and I happen to be the same height, not the same weight, unfortunately. And I just see she talks about like what 1, 2, and 3, what she's doing. And I'm like, yeah, and I can guide her to 4, 5, and 6. And she's in so much pain. And it's just, so we need money, we need outreach, we just need people to know who we are. Phase 4, of course, of Hugs will be building in New York. I see us in like all over, like just things are transformational. And thanks to virtuality, the new virtual world, we have access to be teaching and preaching what we know, what we believe, so that people around the world get to know it, because there's so many things. That tapping thing, like, why should it be a secret? Like, let's tell people for free. And when I'm, let's just sit there and start tapping away our angst and all that stuff. And, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love vision. I love hearing the big picture stuff, and where, like you by putting that out there in our friend, the universe, right? You and me, we have this connection with the universe, right? I sort of say sometimes I bend and manipulate the universe as necessary. Maybe manipulate's not the right way to say it. She just shook your head. What do you think about that?
So I don't say I, me, Mara. I say God and I are one. And with my partner, everyone's like, oh my God, everything you're doing is so great. I'm like, yeah, because look at my partner. So here's the deal. We're not in control. Tommy, if you think we're in control, we have a lot to talk about. We are not in control.
A lot to talk about that.
Yeah, because being in the flow, so we all have an ego, it's edging God out. And when we remove every emotion, anxiety, fear, depression, sadness, anger, and pride, and what it means to be spiritually enlightened is that you removed it all, and you have that soul, and you're full of God's white light, and you're just pure unconditional love, because that's all God is. Not that's all, it's the most beautiful thing, but you're just full of pure love and light, and you shine and you glow, and you start to get younger, and everyone's like, oh my God, you look young, and you're like childlike. And you know what? My husband just doesn't understand. I'm like, it's all good. And I'm not like, it's all good, it's going to all be okay. Because like, listen, you have to make things happen, but it is all so beautiful and so okay. And everyone has that connection. And we're not taught that, because I didn't meet God in temple or church, though I've gone to both many times, and I do feel the energy and love it. But when you could just sit there right now on, line, and just in the toilet, be like, God, like, guide me, tell me what to do, and trust and faith, 2 of the hardest lessons I've learned, and 2 of the most, because it all happens when it does. And it's so beautiful. So yeah, you think if you're manipulating it and you're not following your divine guidance, then you're just not in alignment.
All right, so we got to talk. We definitely got to talk off of this show, because I could tell. I mean, gosh, the amount of tidbits. This is a 4-hour show easily. Like
40 hour.
40 hours. Yeah. I probably get a little more caffeine here in the attic. I got 2 coffees going now, but maybe a little more caffeine, and we'll record a longer conversation with you and me, and we'll both learn. So, all right. So I want to ask one final question before I bring us home. So you mentioned other nonprofit organizations that you either donate the kits to, or you donate like education to. So what, if you want to call them out by name, or call them out on like around where they are in the sector, what their services are, so I can get a feel, and my listeners can get a feel and go, oh, I get it. We should partner up with what she's doing there. Like, that makes sense for our organization, please.
Absolutely. So right now we receive grants in Orange County, right? So we need money to donate things. And so we have grants, a few grants, and so we do monthly donations to different organizations here. And again, children's hospitals, homeless shelters, precious military families, every child that needs just more at-risk vulnerable children, every child that needs extra TLC. So yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit.
So I want to, I'm doing some stuff, gang, in the veterans community. And I say I'm doing some stuff. All I'm doing is being the kind of the connector. My friend Lonnie Sherman and I were on a call. Lonnie runs General Needs Foundation out here on Long Island, and they do just that. They get the basic needs: boots, underwear, socks for veterans. And they're going to be doing a campaign, 1342 mission. They're going to go up and down the Northeast and deliver to veterans shelters and VAs those basic needs. And I'm considering what you're saying about their children.
If they have children, Absolutely. Oh my God. The amount of fear that those parents are experiencing, the child's like feeling it. And yeah, they just, oh my, yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
Energetically, and something you said earlier, and I thought I didn't know if we get into it or not, but you said energetically, like you use the word empath, and that these children are feeling what the parents are feeling, and so much there to unpack, even on a personal level. And I think that's something that us as adults need to explore when we have children in our lives, because there is this, I don't understand a lot of this stuff. And I think a lot of us don't understand this. It doesn't mean it's not happening. It doesn't, the awareness we don't have. We think maybe we're just all in little boxes, but we're not. We're all connected. And in fact, that's the song we play before the show comes on, with how we're all connected and the universe and things like that. So look, Mara, give me one last piece, because I see you're ready to say something, and then we're gonna wind down.
Well, it's really interesting. There's a new show my husband and I are watching called Manifest.
Yes.
Have you heard about it with the airplane? It is so profound.
Blows my mind, that show. Oh my God.
And it's all my life, and because if you hear your inner voice or you hear God, you're crazy. So they're talking about it like, oh, they got on a plane, they got off a plane, it was 5 years later, and they're having a calling. Well, that is exactly what happened to me. And, and it's interesting. There's a fine line of like schizophrenic and a medium. And there are just so many things that are coming to fruition that are real. And it's such a beautiful time. And that show also shows that we're all one, we're all connected. Now, what they're doing in the show, and they're trying to do mind control, that part of it's negative, but the one that it's a we're not I, we're a we, and we're all in this together. And it takes a community to raise a child, but it takes the whole world to raise each child, because it's just, we're all in this together. We're all in it together.
Thank you for being here. I'm looking away only because I have to talk about next week's guest real quick, but thank you for being here, Mara. I appreciate our new and blossoming friendship. I look forward to connecting with you again, have you on the show again, and do maybe there's some other cool stuff we can do together. Thank you for being here. Have an incredible day. Keep in touch. Let's make connections for each other as we best can to help out. All right.
And don't forget, you are amazing.
You are amazing. You are. No, you are. We are amazing together. Next week on the program, Melinda Murray-Nyack of the Dom Hart 21 Foundation will be here. This is an organization. Unfortunately, Melinda lost her son to a cardiac situation as a young person. I think he was only 19 years old. And what they do is heart screenings. They make sure AEDs are in schools, and they've trained 21,000 people with CPR AED training. They've done 5,000 young heart screenings, and really making an incredible impact. Melinda and I know each other from here in New York. So I know her personally in kind of the real world, where we've been in the same room together, but we'll be in the virtual room in the attic next week. Stay in touch with me, TommyD.NYC on Instagram, TommyD.NYC on TikTok, baby. And also, and if you want to send me an email, TommyD@philanthropyandfocus.com, PHOCUS. Mara, make it a great day. Everybody else, make it a great day. Make it a great week. And I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.